Okay, so today we're going to do a wrap up again of the past week. It's about 7:06 a.m. my time. Still dark out there, and I thought I'd do this wrap up video before I go for my hike. So let's take a look. Okay, first let's get me out of the way. Now, as you know, the week was all pre-planned, and it looked like this. Right, so for the 24th to the 28th of November, we had swing days for gold, Monday or Tuesday and Friday, so that was going to be the target. Euro dollar Wednesday, Bitcoin Tuesday, and Sunday we still have that working. It's Saturday today, so that's going to be tomorrow. SP 500 Thursday, Dow Jones Wednesday, Nasdaq Wednesday and Friday. And these were the hours. Remember, the hours are UTC plus 3. So you have to kind of convert it to your own time or whatever the stock exchange you're measuring yourself with. That's Monday trade hours, Tuesday, Wednesday, and that's Thursday, and that's Friday. Okay, and as you can see from here, I've already posted the full month of December here yesterday. All right, so let's put this back and see how we've panned out. So let's start off with gold as usual. Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. All right, so this was last Friday. Last Friday was also a swing day. Going long on Monday was okay. If you watched the videos, you should be fine. Also, you can watch last week's videos as a case study if you like on Vimeo as well. I'll make them public after it's all done. So market going up into Friday, and this is Friday. I can actually get rid of this now. Okay, and that's your Friday. As you know, we also had targets. That target is still up there, so next week we'll probably get to that 76.99. But remember, if you're using your PST, right, on Monday when a new bar opens up, that value of 76.99 has a price of 4,340. That's actually going to change. So be mindful for that if you're using your PST. And on the daily, as you can see, breaking out, so we've got room to go up and so forth. Now, because you've got next week's swing days as well, which I've got in front of me as well, this thing will still kind of like wave to the upside. If it comes down, we can still push to the upside as well. All right, so let's take a look at some of the hours of the week to see how the trading hours went. Okay, let's see now. Because we had Monday, Tuesday, let's see how the trading hours panned out on Monday. So if I go to Monday, now remember the platform is 1 hour behind, right? I'm UTC plus 3, the platform is UTC plus 2. So what did I have? I had 7:05, 8:20, so that's going to be 6:05 to 7:20. That's your 7:20 there. And your 6:05 is there, right? So the market comes down nice and easy, closes a little bit gap here. Okay. Also, if you've learnt from me your technical analysis, you know the cause and consequences, right? So the cause and consequence, nicely going up. Price equals time, and we're going up. The other hours, if you were in New York, right, because this is London, as you can see, but if you're like in New York, let's see, what do we have? I said there is news, if there is news, sorry. I didn't check the news. I don't check the news anymore. I used to, I just don't anymore. It's just like, doesn't make, much difference for me. If there is news, the setup is at 3:05, which is 2:05 on the platform here. And this is your 2:05. All right, so nice and easy, just above the weekly, and the market taking off again. And I had also 4:45, which is 3:45. So let's take a look at 3:45 is there. So the market's going up, a bit of a pullback in New York, testing that level again, and just taking off. And what did I say? Into 7 o'clock, and then can follow to 10:25. So 7 o'clock is going to be 6 o'clock here, and that's your 6 o'clock there. So the market goes to 6 o'clock, then can follow to 10:25, which is going to be 9:25 for me, and it's done even better. But until here, we definitely would have followed the market, either push the stop losses up or taken profit. Okay, so that's that. In fact, that's 4, isn't it? Let me just do this. This is on 4. That's on 5. Let's reset. Let's do gold. So because gold, as you know, is what I really trade. I don't do anything else really. Very rarely I'll do euro dollar or the indices. Overall though, I'm just all about, let me just get the days on here. All right, so this is the template on the MetaTrader 5. If I come to there, by the way, you don't really have to use the kind of technical analysis that I'm doing. You can use your own style of technical analysis, and that's all good. If it works for you, great. All you have to do is just time it according to your technical analysis and price levels, and that's basically how it's going to pan out for you. All right, so that's Monday, nice and easy, going to the upside. Okay, let's take a look. I prefer the MetaTrader 4 because of the PST indicator, which I really like to use because it gives me really precise timing. Okay, and that's how it is. So Tuesday, the market was already up, so there was nothing really to do here. And the reason I wasn't really in favor of selling gold was because we had a weekly breakout on the PST, okay, as you can see here. All right, so following it to the upside was the logical thing to do. All right, so I had Monday or Tuesday. Monday pushing from the lows to the upside, gave us a bias as well. It was good to trade. And Tuesday, that's it, just follow through because we had a PST breakout. So it was all honky-dory, nothing to worry about. Also, it was a breakout on the daily as well. If you check the videos, right, what you will find is that we had this, okay, when that bar finished, okay, so when that bar closed, and then you can see that's on the 21st of November. All right, and then we have your Monday. So right, that's your Friday, Monday, Tuesday. So we had still room to go because we had a target up there. And when the weekly was broken out as well, all you have to do is just get in at the right hours. Let's see the hours on Tuesday. What did I have on Tuesday? So on Tuesday, what you would be doing is just buying the lows, and you got a bit of a gap here. So I would have marked in the cause and the consequence, right? So that would have been your cause and consequence there. So if the market did come back, you would have gone in either there or slightly lower. Okay, I would have marked these in before the market came in, all right, before the market came down. So then all you have to do is buy if the market comes down or if you have a low price. Now, when the market comes to a price level at that time, then you can go in that. Let's see. Now, on Tuesday, I said expect volatility in London. Well, this is London volatility, as you can see. Bang down, bang down, bang up, bang down. This is London, New York together. You see how volatile that is? So I did mention that. And I said if it has direction, it can flow to 12.25 and still further to 145. So that's going to be 12.45. Let's see where 12.45 is. That's your 12.45 there. So that's not really going anywhere. Why? Because we're in the mid-level. How do I know that? Well, that's the opening closing area there. Okay, so that's that. What else? What other hours do I have? I've got 3:45 to 4 o'clock, which is going to be 2:45. That's your 2:45. Market goes bang up again. See, knowing that it's going to be volatile is important, right? So if somebody tells you, look, the market's going to be volatile today and watch for these hours, then you're like, okay, better be careful. So knowing that in advance is a good deal. And then I had 4 o'clock, which is going to be 3 o'clock. So that's there. The market, as you can see, pushing all the way back up. If you'd gone in either at that bar or that bar, your stop loss needs to be low below that, because this is the most recent low. Okay, and if you did that, you should have been okay. Remember, the bias is to the upside because of the PST breakout. And then I've got 8 o'clock to 8:30, which is 7:30. Let's get rid of this. 7 o'clock is there. 7:30 is there. So the market makes a high there, and then it goes into closing because the next hour is closing, and that is your closing there. All right, and that's your new day, Wednesday, starting. What did I have for Wednesday? Let's take a look. Wednesday hours, we had 8:50 in the morning, which is 7:50 on the platform. This is your 7:50. All right, so the market takes a bit of a dip. And then 2:30 to 3:35, which is going to be 1:30 on the platform. 1:30 is right at the top there. That's your 1:30. And 2:35 is going to be just there, I think. Yep. There. All right, so market going up, going down at the trading hours, right, in that interval there. And then we've got 7:30 to 8:20, which is going to be 6:30. Let's see where 6:30 is. That's your 6:30 going into your 8:20, which is 7:20 on the platform. And that's your 7:20 on the platform, right? So market goes down from there. I didn't have this hour. And then the market went up. And then we had closing. The closing was right there, still in that zone there. Okay, slightly lower. And then we had Thursday. This is your Thursday trading hours. Thursday was a good day to make money. Okay, because this was like a good day to trade. And then the market going up into that. Also, on Friday, if you've learnt your analysis technical from me, obviously no buying at the tops, okay? But Friday was a swing day. Market comes down. If you sold here, you would have been okay. But you should have marked out this level. Why? Because if you learnt from me, that's your goodbye kiss, right? And this is London session still, colliding with New York right at the trading hour, market pushing up. Remember, our bias is to the upside. And I did give 4,205 in the beginning of the week. All right, so that was a nice target to go for. And then look what happens at the trading hour. The market gets to that target, mucks around a little bit. See how they sold just above there a little bit. So if you had that for a take profit in the first place, you would have just taken your profit and just said, okay, buy, and we're out of the game, and that's all good. All right, so that's gold, and these are the hours. Now you can match the hours because the hours are common for whatever you're trading, right? But let's take a look at some of the swing days. Let's see what happened on the euro dollar. So on the euro dollar, we had Wednesday for a swing day. Let's see, I can actually do that on the MT5, can't I? Because euro dollar is right here. Okay, so Wednesday, here we are. That's your Wednesday. All right, market just pushing to the upside. Remember, we had a swing day from here. In the beginning of the week, if you watch the videos on Vimeo, you can also see that I said going long from here is logical, and market coming into Wednesday. And this line I drew in before, so the market just came here, as you can see, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, mucking around here, and that was basically the target. So euro dollar worked out nicely as well. If you just put the hours, okay, you should be all right as well. As you can see, let me just template this again. I don't know why it's going into that mode. No, why are the days not showing? Anyway, normally the days show up here. So that's that. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin, if you recall, we had this price zone. In fact, let me show you Bitcoin on MetaTrader 4. Okay, so this is the euro dollar. You can see it's just nice and easy going, and Wednesday just following it into there, which is just nice and easy. Okay, in fact, I think I did it from here, didn't I? From that high, yep, high, 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 from here. Okay, we've got a high, 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 and bang, and target zone getting out. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. Also trading Bitcoin. Oh, it's beginning to get light. I don't normally trade Bitcoin, but I did put a trade in for Bitcoin, and it worked out pretty good actually. Let's check out the swing days on the MetaTrader 4 first. Also in the members area, right, if you want to see how they're working or not, you can always go to the archive because everything's archived up. Okay, so you can go to the archive, see it goes all the way into 2022, because I started at the end of 2021. So you can get all the data from here to see what works and what's not working and so on. But more often than not, our swing day calculations will work. Our trading hours calculations will work as well. And if you match it to your technical analysis, it doesn't matter what kind of technical analysis you do. Okay, it's your call. I always go for more than one approach. Some people like demand and supply. Some people like, I don't know, smart money concepts. Some people like trend lines. It doesn't matter. I actually go through all of them because despite the fact that some people say Fibonacci's don't work, when you're using it with timing, you can make any kind of technical analysis methodology work. No technical analysis methodology just on its own is good. Okay, it isn't. And with technical analysis, this is why I always look at look at the market from a few different perspectives, from a few different angles, and that really improves your hit rate. It also gives you more confidence because you got the timing and the swing days and the trading hours off the day, and then they match your price or our U-turn indicator, which I'm using. Sometimes I use the U-turn indicator and the bars change color, and I thought, okay, this is going to chuck a UE, so let me just get in on the UE, put a stop loss at the bottom of that small time period low and just take it to the target. And this is why I open up 2 trades more often than not, so I can cover the first position and then let the second trade run. And more often than not, it'll always be more than 1 to 3 on the second trade. I'd like to go for like 1 to 5, 1 to 6, so it could just blow itself up to that target. This is why PST pricing is important, because if the pricing is correct, and with PST it really is more often than not really accurate, then just follow it to there and that's it. Okay, and here we are with Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin, remember, here we are. Let's do this. Now look, this was a swing day, remember, and I said we could go long, and we had a PST breakout. Look how, again, I was just talking about you, PST, and nice to see you there. You see how the PST came to those targets yesterday, all right? And this, see the lines that I've got here, the white line, see how it comes in there That's it, and then sells off nice and easy. So, knowing those prices, then all you got to do is just, let your trade run. If you've covered it, all you got to do is just let it run and see how beautifully it's just touching there. That's Friday. Okay, market touches the target and just glides down, and that's exactly how you should be trading. This is why PST, like, it's fundamental for my trading anyway. It's really important for my trading. It will give you great pricing, and if you know the swing days, like we knew the swing days, right? Remember, for Bitcoin it was Tuesday, and Tuesday was the 25th. That's your Tuesday, isn't it? Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. That's right, that's your Tuesday. And then we had Thursday. See how the market chucked the Yui, and then it was a swing day this week. Bang. Let's see, did I have anything other than that Thursday last week? Let me double check, because that's the 21st, isn't it? That is the 21st. So that's the week off, the 17th of November. No, I only had Thursday. So that's Thursday. And then following that, 24th of November, which is this week, we had Tuesday and Sunday. So Sunday is still yet to come. That's tomorrow. But that's your Tuesday market dipping into that green rectangle. And that's it. Now, all you got to do is on a Tuesday, you go to your 15-minute chart on a Tuesday, and then you just see, let's come into Tuesday. You just see when you want to go in. All right. And what you want to be doing on a Tuesday is buying the lows or dips on intraday at the trading hours. So that's what we're trying to match. So once you get your technical analysis right, that's how it should pan out. Now, the hours for Tuesday is going to be, that's the 25th. So let's get in there. Okay, let's see that on the MT5, because here we are on the Tuesday, right? So Tuesday swing day, and look what happened on a Wednesday. If you watch the video for this was the time when I traded on a Wednesday. But Tuesday was the swing day. Now notice how the market did not go lower than Tuesday on Wednesday. Okay, on Tuesday, let's take a look at the hours. Let's see. Remember, we want to buy low. How are you going to know that? Well, you obviously have to know the cause and consequences. Remember, I trade cause and consequence. Okay, so I'm a cause and consequence trader. Sometimes they do mix it up with demand and supply. It looks pretty similar, but cause and consequence is a different thing. Now let's take a look. On Tuesday, let's mark those hours in. Okay, I had 315 to 350, and I said expect volatility in London. That's your London. Okay, market bang, volatile, pushing down, up, down again. This is New York session. Okay, so this is actually London, New York joint. These are the kill zones. Okay, so it's like intertwined. And then what did I have? If it has direction, it could flow to 1225 and still further to 145. So let's see, 145 is going to be 1245, isn't it? That's your 1245 there. So the market dipped into there. And then next hours are 225, which is going to be 125. 125 is right there. Okay, so the market here, as you can see, looking for a turnaround. And then I've got 345 to 4, which is 245 to 3. That's your 245 to 3. Now remember, no buying in these levels here. Okay, why? Because the market has a low in London and it's up at the moment. Okay, so you're looking for places to buy. So this is one place to buy, and if you want to check that bar as well, if you want to take London into consideration as well, now this is going to be your zone. All right, London low. Okay, and this is the cause bar here. All right, now the market dips back in. So when is the time that I've got? I've got 8 to 8:30. which is going to be 7 to 7:30. 7 is going to be there, and 7:30 is there. Now look, these are no buying zones. Your buying zones are here, but we haven't had any time correlation here, okay? So on Tuesday, swing day, just missed out on it, okay? Just the price didn't come to where we wanted to come to at a trading hour. If you wanted to enter it technically, because it was a swing day and our bias was to the upside, you could have, but that's really not my cup of tea. I like to watch time and price meet. So on Wednesday, what happened? I was doing the video for this, okay? And actually it was in the morning, this was in the afternoon. I think I did a case study for this, right? So look at the Bitcoin case study, part 1 and part 2. I was long here, market came down, stop out, went long again after this bar closed, and that was a whopper all the way into these hours here. Now, if you take a look at the Wednesday hours, okay, I've got all of those hours here, as you can see, and the market just popped up from here. Nice dip down, retesting this low, and then going back up right into the target. And I had closing to 10 o'clock, which is 9 o'clock here, isn't it? That's right, 9:15. 10:20 was my time, so it's 9:20 on the platform, and closing, and that's your closing bar right there, and the new day opens up. All right, so knowing these in advance is obviously going to be an advantage for you, and also you can do all of this. Let's go into the indices and check them out. On MetaTrader 5, I put all the indices in one profile, so let's get them opened up. So on the SP 500, we had swing days Thursday. Well, that's your Thursday, ladies and gentlemen. Coming into the target, watch the videos, you'll see what I'm talking about. I target everything. If we're going to go somewhere, we've got to have a target, and more often than not, you'll see my targets are always met. Now, look, that was a swing day as well. All right, so that's your Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday. Last week, we had a Friday swing day. So following it long all the way into Thursday was the logical thing to do. And on Friday, once you took your profit at the level here, then on Friday, what did you have to do? Just go fishing or something. All right, so let's take a look at Dow Jones. We had Wednesday. Okay, and Wednesday, that was it. The market came to the target on Wednesday. Remember, I talked about this level, and also there's a bit here as well. Okay, so SP 500 was on a Thursday, Dow Jones on a Wednesday. Okay, swing days from last week, nice and easy. Okay, you can, like I said, match your hours as well. You can check how the hours worked. This is NASDAQ. I had Wednesday and Friday for NASDAQ. Well, Wednesday, Friday, coming right into the target there. Okay, remember, that was the target for NASDAQ. Market coming in there on a Friday. Beautiful, just beautiful. All right, and that's basically it. Swing days, I can now say thumbs up to target being there on a Friday. Very nice. Okay, so swing day, price target, looking at the next swing day. Are we going in that direction? Just go in at the trading hours according to your time, according to your pricing, according to the technical analysis you're doing, and everything should be just honky-dory. Like I said, it doesn't matter the kind of technical analysis you're using, as long as you're using one which is like for you is comfortable, and obviously you got to use money management, right? All right, so I've got to go hiking. The sun's out. Have a good weekend.